The last thing Daniel Vale deleted was not a photo, it was his own name. At exactly 3:17 a.m., sitting alone in a small apartment where nobody knew he lived, Daniel opened his laptop, typed his password for the final time, and pressed one single button. Delete account. A small message appeared on the screen. Are you sure you want to remove your digital identity permanently? Daniel stared at the words. Then he smiled, because for the first time in 20 years, he felt free. Most people spend their entire lives trying to become someone. Daniel spent his last year trying to become nobody. No social media, no friends, no family contact, no photographs, no old messages, no history. He erased everything. And that was exactly what he wanted. Because Daniel had discovered a terrible truth. Sometimes the person you are running away from is yourself. 10 months earlier, Daniel was a successful therapist in the center of the city. People came to him because they believed he understood the human mind. He knew how trauma worked. He knew how memories could destroy people. He knew how guilt could hide behind a smile. Ironically, he never applied any of that knowledge to himself. Every morning, Daniel looked into the mirror and saw a normal man, a calm man, a respected man. But every night, he saw something else. A person he had spent years trying to bury, a secret. 20 years ago, when Daniel was only 24 years old, something happened. Something nobody knew. Something he never confessed. A young woman named Emily disappeared after a party. The police searched for months. The newspapers called it a mystery. Her family called it a tragedy. But Daniel called it something else. A mistake. He was not responsible for her disappearance, not directly, but he knew something that could have changed everything, and he stayed silent. For 20 years, Daniel convinced himself that silence was not the same as a crime. He told himself he was young. He told himself he was scared. He told himself there was nothing he could have done. But the human mind has a strange way of keeping the truth alive, even when you bury it. It keeps breathing underground. And Daniel's buried truth started coming back. It began with a message from an unknown number. Only 3 words. I remember everything. Daniel froze. The message disappeared after 10 seconds. He checked the number. Nothing. No account, no information, nobody. At first, he thought it was a prank. Then another message arrived. You don't get to erase what happened. From that day, Daniel's life changed. Every time he deleted something, something else appeared. An old photograph, a forgotten email, a recording from a phone he hadn't owned in years. It was impossible. Someone was rebuilding his past, piece by piece. Daniel became obsessed. He stopped sleeping. He stopped working. He stopped trusting anyone. Because he knew something nobody else knew. The person destroying his new life knew his old one perfectly. One night, Daniel followed a clue hidden inside one of the mysterious messages. It led him to an abandoned building outside the city, the same building where Emily was last seen. The door was unlocked. Inside was a room filled with photographs, hundreds of them. Photos of Daniel, photos of Emily, photos of his entire life. And in the middle of the room was a chair. On the chair was a small voice recorder. Daniel pressed play. At first, there was only silence. Then, his own voice. 20 years younger, terrified, crying. I should have helped her. Daniel dropped the recorder. No. He stepped backward. No, that's impossible. Then another voice played. A woman's voice. Emily's voice. Daniel, you were never afraid of what happened to me. You were afraid of what people would think of you. Daniel couldn't breathe, because suddenly he remembered. Not everything, only pieces, but enough. Emily had not disappeared. She had escaped. She had left the city because she discovered Daniel had betrayed her trust. He had exposed her private struggles to other people. He had ruined her reputation. And when she confronted him, he chose himself. He stayed silent while everyone searched for a missing person, because admitting the truth meant destroying the image he had built. The police eventually found Emily years later, alive, living under a different name. But Daniel never knew, because nobody ever told him. Why? Because Emily never wanted revenge. She wanted him to live with the one punishment he could never escape: his own mind. The next morning, Daniel received one final message. You wanted to disappear. Now you know what it feels like. He opened his laptop. He looked at his empty accounts, his deleted photographs, his erased identity. And suddenly he understood. He had spent months deleting himself from the world, because deep inside, he believed he did not deserve to exist as the person he had become. But disappearing does not remove guilt. Silence does not erase consequences. And running away from yourself only creates a prison with invisible walls. Years later, people who knew Daniel said something strange happened. The man who once helped others understand their trauma finally started facing his own. He returned to therapy. He confessed everything. Not because he wanted forgiveness, but because he finally understood something. The hardest person you will ever have to forgive is the version of yourself you are ashamed to remember. Daniel never deleted his name again. He kept his photographs. He kept his old messages. He kept every reminder of who he was. Because he learned the truth. You cannot heal by destroying your past. You heal by finally having the courage to look at it. And sometimes, the person you are trying hardest to erase is the person who needs your understanding the most.